Sign number 1. They've completely removed you from all aspects of their life and social media. The first definitive sign that an avoidant has moved on permanently is when they systematically erase all traces of your existence from their life and online presence. This isn't the typical avoidant pattern of creating distance while maintaining peripheral connection. This is complete and thorough elimination that suggests they've made a final decision about your place in their world. The avoidant who's truly done will unfriend or block you on all social media platforms, not just to avoid seeing your updates, but to prevent themselves from the temptation of checking up on you during moments of weakness. They remove photos of you from their profiles, delete shared memories from their feeds, and eliminate any digital evidence that you were once important to them. This digital purge extends beyond just removing current content. They go through old posts, comments, and shared photos to delete anything that references your relationship or shared experiences. They're not just hiding your presence from others, they're actively working to remove reminders of you from their own daily digital environment. More significantly, they block mutual friends who might serve as conduits for information about you, or they specifically ask these friends not to share updates about your life with them. The avoidant who's moved on doesn't want to know how you're doing, what you're up to, or whether you're dating someone new. They've genuinely reached a place where your life no longer holds relevance or interest for them. This systematic removal is particularly telling because avoidants typically maintain some level of peripheral awareness of their ex-partners, even when they've ended relationships. They usually keep some form of distant connection, following on social media, maintaining friendships with mutual connections, or simply remaining aware of their ex's general life circumstances. When they eliminate all avenues for information about you, it signals a definitive emotional detachment. The thoroughness of this removal also indicates that they're not planning to return. If they harbored any hope or intention of reconnecting, they would maintain some pathways for monitoring your availability and emotional state. The complete elimination suggests they've made peace with never seeing you again and have no interest in leaving doors open for future connection. This digital and social erasure often happens gradually rather than all at once, which makes it even more significant. The avoidant methodically removes traces of you over time, suggesting ongoing commitment to the decision rather than an impulsive reaction to immediate pain or anger. Sign number 2, they've entered a new committed relationship with visible emotional investment. The second unmistakable sign that an avoidant has moved on is when they enter a new relationship that displays all the emotional availability and commitment they withheld from you. This isn't just casual dating or rebound behavior. This is genuine emotional investment in someone new, demonstrated through public commitment, integrated social lives, and the kind of vulnerability they never offered during your relationship. The avoidant who's truly moved on will introduce their new partner to friends and family in ways they never did with you. They'll post couple photos on social media, attend social events together, and generally behave like someone who's proud to be in a committed relationship. This public integration is particularly significant because avoidants typically avoid displaying their relationships openly when they're not fully invested. Most tellingly, they demonstrate emotional behaviors with their new partner that they claimed to be incapable of during your relationship. They communicate more openly, show affection more freely, make future plans more readily, and generally exhibit the kind of emotional availability that you spent months or years hoping to see from them. This isn't about them suddenly becoming a different person. It's about them finding someone who either doesn't trigger their attachment wounds or represents a safer emotional investment for reasons specific to their psychology. The painful reality is that their emotional unavailability with you may have been more about compatibility than capability. The avoidant's willingness to be vulnerable and committed with someone new proves that they were capable of more intimate connection all along, but something about your specific dynamic or their feelings for you activated their deepest defenses. This realization can be devastating, but it's crucial information about the finality of their departure from your life. When an avoidant demonstrates genuine emotional investment in a new relationship, it typically means they've processed and moved beyond whatever internal conflicts prevented them from being fully available to you. They're not carrying unresolved feelings that would interfere with their ability to bond with someone else. This new relationship also serves as evidence that they've found what they were looking for, either consciously or unconsciously. The fact that they're able to commit and be vulnerable suggests they found their person, which naturally closes the door on returning to previous relationships that didn't offer the same sense of rightness or safety. Sign number 3. They've undergone significant personal transformation that doesn't include space for your dynamic. The third sign that an avoidant has permanently moved on is when they've undergone substantial personal growth and life changes that fundamentally alter who they are in ways that make your previous relationship dynamic impossible to recreate. This transformation isn't about becoming better or worse. It's about becoming incompatible with the version of themselves that was in relationship with you. This might manifest as significant career changes that reflect new values and priorities, relocation to different cities or countries that represent fresh starts, or major lifestyle modifications that signal internal shifts in their identity and goals. The avoidant has essentially become a different person whose life circumstances and internal world no longer align with the relationship you once shared. More profoundly, they may have developed new perspectives on relationships, commitment, and emotional availability that make their previous patterns seem foreign to their current self. Perhaps they've done therapy work that helped them understand their attachment patterns, or they've had life experiences that matured their capacity for intimacy in ways that make their past behavior feel like ancient history. This transformation often includes new social circles, different interests, and evolved communication styles that reflect internal growth and change. The avoidant has built a new life that doesn't include space for the patterns, dynamics, or even the version of themselves that existed in relationship with you. When significant personal transformation has occurred, the avoidant often views their past relationships, including yours, as belonging to a different chapter of their life that they've closed permanently. They don't reject the relationship because it was bad, but because it represents a version of themselves they've outgrown and moved beyond. This type of moving on is particularly final because it's not based on emotion or reactive decision-making. It's based on fundamental incompatibility between who they've become and who they were when they were with you. Even if they remember the relationship fondly, they recognize that returning to it would require regressing to a previous version of themselves they no longer identify with. The avoidant has essentially evolved beyond the emotional and psychological space where your relationship existed. They've not just moved on from you specifically, they've moved on from the entire category of person they were when they loved you. Sign number 4. They show complete indifference to your well-being and life circumstances. The fourth and most definitive sign that an avoidant has moved on permanently is when they demonstrate complete emotional indifference to your welfare, achievements, struggles, and general life circumstances. This goes beyond mere lack of contact. It's authentic lack of concern or curiosity about your existence as a person. When avoidants still harbor feelings or unresolved attachment, they typically maintain some level of concern about their ex-partner's well-being, even if they don't act on that concern. They might not reach out during difficult times, but they care whether you're okay. They might not celebrate your achievements, but they feel some satisfaction knowing you're thriving. True indifference, however, means your happiness or sadness genuinely doesn't register as relevant information in their emotional world. They can hear about your major life events, job changes, health issues, relationship developments, family circumstances, without experiencing any emotional response whatsoever. You've become as emotionally significant to them as a stranger. This indifference often becomes apparent through mutual friends who notice the avoidant's complete lack of reaction to news about you. When others share updates about your life, the avoidant responds with the same polite disinterest they would show hearing about anyone they don't know personally. There's no special attention, no follow-up questions, no visible emotional response of any kind. Even more telling is when they encounter information about you being in distress or celebrating major achievements and feel nothing at all. The avoidant who's moved on doesn't feel compelled to reach out during your difficult times, doesn't feel proud during your successes, and doesn't feel anything resembling protective instincts when you're struggling. This emotional neutrality extends to romantic developments in your life as well. When they learn you're dating someone new or have entered a serious relationship, They feel neither jealousy nor relief, just the same indifference they would feel learning that any acquaintance had updated their relationship status. True indifference also means they've stopped monitoring your social media, asking mutual friends about you, or maintaining any awareness of your general life trajectory. They're not avoiding information about you to protect themselves from painful feelings. They're simply not interested in that information because you no longer hold emotional relevance in their world. This complete emotional detachment is the most reliable indicator that an avoidant has moved on permanently, because it represents the full resolution of any lingering attachment or unfinished emotional business. When someone you once loved becomes genuinely unimportant to your emotional well-being, it signals that the psychological bonds have been completely severed. Why these signs indicate permanent departure rather than temporary distance. These 4 signs, complete removal from their life, committed investment in someone new, fundamental personal transformation, and genuine indifference to your well-being, represent different levels of finality that go far beyond the typical avoidant pattern of creating distance while maintaining connection potential. Unlike temporary withdrawal or strategic silence, these behaviors indicate that the avoidant has moved through their attachment to you and reached a place of genuine resolution. They're not protecting themselves from feelings they still have. They've processed and released those feelings entirely. The permanence of this departure is evidenced by the fact that these changes typically happen gradually and are sustained over time, rather than being reactive responses to immediate relationship conflicts. The avoidant has made thoughtful, consistent choices that close doors rather than simply stepping back temporarily. Understanding these signs can be painful but liberating because they provide clarity about where you stand and what possibilities actually exist. Rather than holding on to hope for reconciliation that will never materialize, recognizing permanent departure allows you to fully invest in your own healing and future relationships without the emotional energy drain of wondering whether they might return. The finality these signs represent isn't necessarily about you personally. It's about the avoidant reaching a place in their own emotional development where your specific relationship no longer serves their growth or happiness. This recognition can help frame their departure as completion rather than rejection, allowing you to find peace with the ending and excitement about what comes next.